my name's Kevin. I got a message from you today to give you a call back. I hear you're an osteo from Melbourne looking for work. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, mate. And he said, okay, well, why don't you come in for an interview tomorrow? I said, oh, okay, great, let's do it. This is amazing. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, I go to interview with this guy in his clinic, and he's a really interesting character, Kevin. He's 6'3", redhead, got a real presence about him, a lot of energy, fueled up on Red Bull, quite giddy, jittery. Interviews me, we do like this sort of trial treatment session where he wants me to do a bunch of stuff, and he stands up and says, job's yours. And I said, okay, amazing. That's great. When can I start? And he said, you can start tomorrow. And just so you know, because of your situation, I'm going to pay you 100% of your revenue for the first 2 months that you work for me. And I was just like shocked that this guy is saying this to me. I'm going to pay my bills. I'm going to start saving again, and there's going to be some stability. That job changed my life because Kev, someone that was wanting to invest in his people, and it was the first time I ever had a mentor and a coach. So he actually hired a guy who was one of his clients who was looking to pick up some mentees or people to coach, and Kev paid for me to be coached by this guy. I realized like one of my big strengths was, humility, not having an ego, wanting to learn, like actually not thinking that I was unteachable or not being able to learn, but just this idea that like I was willing to learn from anyone. The weird thing was, growing up, I had always befriended guys who were older than me. Some of my best friends are 10, 15, 20 years older than me. And it was because I wanted to see their journey and learn from them, and I'd always seek their counsel and stuff. That moment of being coached, like my performance just went like this. And all of a sudden I'm this full-time university student doing this master's. I'm back to earning more than what I was earning in Melbourne, and tasting success, knowing how to be a really successful operator, bringing in leadership skills. Kev starts looking to me to mentor graduates that we're hiring in the business. So all of a sudden he and I start to form this sort of relationship of like, maybe we could something here that we could go into partnership with. Finish uni, go through this really ugly breakup with this girl. At this point, I'm kind of missing my family, and I want to move home. So get this great job and take this high-paying job in the Melbourne CBD to help this guy build what his dreams are, which is this big empire. And he's selling me this dream that when I come on, I'm going to be the manager of the place, and then there'll be equity on the table, their performance-based goals, etc., etc. And at this point, I'm all in. I'm bought into his vision. I'm managing, multiple clinics of his at this point. We're implementing new technology, training, professional development, and business is just leveling up, and performance is just going through the roof at this point. He's starting to bring me in on decision-making, inner circle, taking me to conferences with him, and we're building this sort of relationship. I knew when I was just built different or wired differently, because I was willing to do 12-hour days. I was willing to work my ass off. Any time I was the first one there and the last one to leave. Yeah, we kind of got to this point where he started to show signs that he was never really planning on following through with this promise of, you can be a part owner one day, you can have a big slice of this pie, we can grow this empire together, we can grow nationally together. And by this point, I was getting really good at networking, building partnerships, having a following of young professionals who looked up to me as a mentor. He had this like right-hand guy who was his muscle or his bodyguard, or he was the guy that would strong arm people in the business if they weren't falling in line. It was weird because this guy was also after a slice of the business, and he was banking on this idea that if I succeeded and the business grew, I'd get a slice of the pie, but he also needed a slice of the pie. So he was working with this guy for free. He'd come in and rough people up in the business when they weren't falling in line. He knew he couldn't rough me up, but he knew he could try and be the negotiator in this. So I sit down with these two guys and I basically tell them, here's what we're doing wrong. Here's what we need to improve. Here's the level of work I'm going to put in. I need some guarantees because you're looking really shady. Basically, they start retracting their position. They're not committing to anything. I walk out of that meeting very angry, deciding that I'm done.